Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. As you can see on your screens, the first part of our show today is going to focus on the FinTech Summit that happened in Vizag today. It's perhaps one of the rare instances where you have a government championing a particular segment within startups, and FinTech of course has been making all the buzz in the last few years because of the government's push towards the Jam Trinity, and then you had Aadhaar, which enabled eKYC to a large extent. That of course is under question now. But the mobile penetration, internet penetration across the country, digital payments has put FinTech firmly in the spotlight. It started with usage of wallets in UPI, and it's now evolved to digital lending and P2P lending. And the FinTech Summit in Andhra today in Vizag sought to really throw light on some of these issues. Before we tell you about what all was discussed at the FinTech Summit, what were the key takeaways, let's bring on board some big voices that we got from the FinTech Festival in Vizag. And we begin, of course, with the telecom regulator, TRAI's chief R.S. Sharma, who spoke to my colleague Rahul Daima about data localization, what the telecom regulator plans to do now that the RBI has mandated that all critical data needs to be stored in India. So will the telecom regulator take their cue from that? And what impact has the ban on eKYC on private entities had as far as onboarding of customers is concerned? What impact this is likely to have going forward? Listen in to R.S. Sharma's conversation with my colleague Rahul Daima.
India has made a very robust digital identity infrastructure, and that infrastructure actually is a public utility, like a public utility, a public good. So now you can plug in this electronic KYC into any domain, whether it is for opening a bank account or for other kinds of stuff. So I think that has changed. That has actually created a paperless onboarding system for all sort of people who, and it has reduced cost. It has also reduced frauds in a big measure because impersonation is not possible now. So I think it has certainly changed the way, and the number of digital electronic KYC transaction has crossed 9 billion in 1 year. You have 1.2 billion Aadhaar and 9 billion electronic KYC in 1 year. That's actually a fundamental shift which has happened.
Got it. Yeah, sir, on data localization, we've seen the RBI take a very strong stand. The government has said that it will leave it to the sectoral regulators to sort of take, a stand on what it means for TRAI. What really will be the way forward?
Look, we had in fact had a consultation for 1 year, which essentially talked about the data ownership, the data security and data privacy in the telecom space. And we have issued our recommendations. However, we have not issued recommendations relating to general data protection issues because we are aware of the fact that Justice Sri Krishna Committee has given a report to the government, and government is in the process of drafting a data protection and privacy law. So in my view, and especially the Supreme Court's judgment on Aadhaar and Supreme Court's judgment on the privacy is a fundamental right, and then the law coming in, our approach is that we have given our recommendations to the government, and we feel that either they will be subsumed in the data protection law, or if there is a specific sectoral related regulation or the law to come in, then the Department of Telecom will actually make the appropriate laws.
Another big voice then is the Chief Minister of Andhra, Chandrababu Naidu, the man who really transformed Hyderabad into Cyberabad when it was a unified Andhra Pradesh. And remember, it was during his tenure as Chief Minister when Hyderabad, in a sense, really became the Cyberabad of India. You had Bill Gates visiting India to set up Microsoft's office in Hyderabad, and he's trying to really replicate that in the new state of Andhra. So on the one hand, you have Telangana led by KCR and his son KTR, who are trying to pull in a lot of startups and tech investments. On the other hand, you have Chandrababu Naidu in the Andhra region trying to replicate his earlier success as the Chief Minister of Unified Andhra Pradesh. Listen into what he thinks about the potential for fintech, why he thinks Vizag has the scope to be the next fintech hub and the potential of AI going forward. He's one of the most tech-savvy politicians in India, so I'm sure a lot of startups will be interested in his views as far as the potential of fintech is concerned and how Vizag really plans to incentivize all of them. Listen in to Chandrababu Naidu.
In fintech, there are so many innovations. Under the same time, cyber security is very, very important in fintech. So blockchain technologies, what are the latest, all these things we have to do, innovations here. And also, in future, in India, Visakhapatnam will be the hub for all fintech companies to start their operations and also to do innovations. Now future is moving differently. One is knowledge with innovation is order of the day. Information technology is the platform, and the capacity of leadership, how to place it globally, locally, that is the thing it is happening today. You are going to see different approach also. Earlier, big companies always used to dominate. Now small companies are able to purchase big companies today. It is only leadership, scale of operations, and capacity of imagination. That is what is happening. I am very happy. For the last 2 years, Andhra Pradesh has done extremely well. Even information technology, there is scope, but unlimited scope is available in either fintech or artificial intelligence, blockchain, cyber security, even machine learning, cloud management, data centers, even IoT in a big way. So these are all the technologies we are working in Andhra Pradesh today.
So Rahul, to meet you now, ease of doing business, AP has topped the charts, but startups as a hub really, competition from the likes of Noida, Bangalore, Hyderabad closer. How will AP really ensure, even Lokesh can add to it, to ensure that as a startup hub also you emerge quickly?
No, Hyderabad or Pune or Noida, all these things, well-established destinations. Earlier I established Hyderabad. Hyderabad was zero. When I started Bangalore, Noida, they used to compare, but not Hyderabad. Then I started all these things. Then Hyderabad has become a real destination. And also for ecosystem, if you see, one of the best ecosystem we are able to create in Hyderabad.
Okay, after Chandrababu Naidu, time then to listen in to his son and the Cabinet Minister for IT in Andhra Pradesh, that's Nara Lokesh. And he spoke to Rahul again on the potential to develop Andhra into an IT hub, particularly Vizag. He spoke about how professionals from Andhra have already left a trail globally. Because if you look at it, he says almost 1 out of every 4th tech professional in the world would be from Andhra Pradesh. I'm not surprised because I read a report just a couple of days back on how Telugu is the fastest growing language in North America. But how is he going to do that as far as Vizag is concerned? Let's listen into this interview with Nara Lokesh.
We are the only state to unify all the government departments on a single platform called the Core Data Authority. So we want to offer this platform as for entrepreneurs to come and take a shot to offer services and goods to the citizen. So this we believe is a unique selling point for Andhra Pradesh, number one. Number two, we already have an agreement with the Monetary Authority of Singapore. We are working with other institutions to create a regulatory sandbox. And this sandbox will create a non-confrontational environment where both regulators and entrepreneurs can sit and discuss ideas. So one good example of that is, we had a hackathon with blockchain and land records, on digitized, and it's on blockchain in especially Amravati, the capital city. But then regulation is not there. So regulation is always catching up to Industry 4.0. So how can I create the entire ecosystem and the back end to support that revolution will be very critical. And that's where I believe that Visakhapatnam is well poised for that.
Would you agree there's an uphill task, while you look at developing Andhra Pradesh and hubs as startup hubs, Hyderabad, that your previous government has established a hub, that's a competition, likes of established ones, Bangalore, Gurgaon. So is it an uphill task, and how you do really conquer it? Because ambitious targets that you have also set for the state.
Well, I don't think it's an uphill task, because globally if you come across 10 IT professionals, 4 are from India, and out of that 4, 1 is from the state of Andhra Pradesh. So we have great talent here, we have the ecosystem here. As I was just sharing, if Goa would marry Bengaluru and have an offspring, that would be Visakhapatnam. We have a beautiful city here. It's one of the cleanest cities. We have a very proactive government. We are #1 in ease of doing business twice in consecutive years. So, the state is well positioned now. So with all this, I think we have all the ingredients now for us to make Visakhapatnam as the next IT destination in India.
Ease of doing business, Andhra Pradesh has topped the chart. Ease of starting up and being a startup hub, what target would you set in the coming years for Andhra Pradesh to not only be a regional hub but a global hub at that?
Well, we would like to, for Andhra Pradesh, to have at least 10 unicorns. The unicorns are typically defined as $1 billion plus market cap, right? So with this in the background, so I don't believe in fancy incubators and accelerators. Let's be realistic, right? Facebook, Google, to the matter of Flipkart, they were all started in a garage, in someone's apartment. So I think what we are doing different in Andhra Pradesh is actually putting money behind the kids, putting money behind mentorship, putting money behind their ideas, to do hackathons every month, thematic hackathons, agri, fintech, blockchain, rural development. This is electrothon. This is where all the kids from colleges, from schools can come, demonstrate, showcase their products and services, where government can actually put money behind it. Angels are willing to come forward. Zebi is one company, such company, that did the entire blockchain on Amravati land records. So I think Andhra Pradesh is very unique in that sense. So you won't see fancy incubators or accelerators here. What you see is that we put our money where it matters.
It's an amazing pitch from Nara Lokesh. He says if Goa and Bengaluru have an offspring, that would be Visakhapatnam, the emerging fintech hub. Will investors and startups fall for that pitch? I do not know, but it's a pretty catchy line. But let's then take it to Rahul, who's actually been covering that fintech event in Vizag all through the day for us. He gives us perspective on just, what the sessions were all about, what the key points of discussions are, and yes, if Vizag will give Bengaluru serious competition as the next fintech hub.
We are here at the Vizag Fintech Summit. It's the second summit organized by the government of Andhra Pradesh, and they have an ambitious plan of ensuring that Vizag really develops as a fintech hub. So it's an exclusive fintech summit. You have startups, all of them exhibiting, banks, all of them coming together. The government also increasingly talking about the role of blockchain and AI in the way the government itself functions. For example, the CM spoke about, Chandrababu Naidu spoke about how Amravati, all the land records are digitized, where blockchain is also playing a role. That's the big bet for the government. Of course, it'd be a challenging task for them, considering you already have well-established hubs like Hyderabad, remember again developed by Chandrababu Naidu, but after the bifurcation of the state, they really have a challenge to ensure that Vizag remains the focus. They're also looking at developing other hubs and attracting investments. They have a startup policy in place. A lot of entrepreneurs have traveled from across the world to be part of this fintech summit. They had a competition for a 1 million grant where a lot of them really took part. But the government clearly indicating that they'll do all they can to work with entrepreneurs and also see what they can reap out of startups. It's a 5-day long event really with over more than 1,000 dignitaries. But we'll have to wait and see if this bet by the Andhra Pradesh government pays off going ahead.
Wow. Telangana and Andhra really competing there to emerge as the next startup and fintech hub, while Bengaluru continues to grapple with infrastructure issues. Who will finally win the battle? We'll have to wait and see. But on that note, it's time for a break at this point on Startup Central. But when we come back after the break, we have a conversation lined up with Cleartax's founder and CEO Archit Gupta on their latest round of fundraising, where they've raised $50 million in Series B from Hong Kong's Composite Capital, which makes its India debut with this investment. So take a break and come back for that conversation on the other side of Startup Central. Hello and welcome back to Startup Central. As promised, a conversation with Cleartax's founder and CEO Archit Gupta. Now they've raised $50 million in Series B from Composite Capital, a Hong Kong-based fund that's made its debut in India with this investment. Remember, some of Cleartax's other prominent investors include the likes of Peter Thiel, Max Levchin, Safe Capital and others. Also Naval Ravikant of Angel List. Archit, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Take us through what you will be using this funding for. What kind of initiatives will you be, using this for with the 50 million that you've raised in Series B?
Like the round is like $50 million. Composite Capital, which is a fund based out of Hong Kong, has invested into Cleartax, and the plan now is to fundamentally invest in technology, and R&D. Basically, our goal is to increase the engineering headcount immediately for sure, and basically accelerate the growth trajectory we are on. The last 24 months have been fantastic for us because of some of the focus the government had on expanding tax revenue and the launch of GST on July 1, 2017. So it's been a great journey in that regard.
Right, you spoke about GST and that's clearly given you a big shot in the arm. But this has come with many, many changes with respect to the kind of forms, the processes, the timelines. Net, how has Cleartax really benefited from GST?
So Chandra, you're absolutely right. In terms of the number of changes that GST went through and and continues to go through, right? There's a recent deadline extension that happened, and that was all over Twitter, and there was a lot of hue and cry as recently as 4 days ago, right? And I think GST will remain a work in progress for the next 12 to 18 months. I don't think it will become this super easy system until people become familiar, the laws stabilize, the entire process stabilizes. So it is going to be a journey, especially for small businesses, medium businesses, once the phase 2 of GST rolls out, which has not rolled out yet. So most of the pain is being felt by larger enterprises today. I think post-election we should see GST phase 2 rollout. The second part is for Cleartax, it's been incredible, right? Because there's this big pain point customers, businesses have around what should they do with GST. So we offer them software and we offer them services which can help them do GST better. And the great thing has been we've been very focused. So I think what has differentiated us and what has led to market leadership in GST by us is the simple fact that we were very, very focused on all things GST. We kept up with the rapid change the government did, and that has helped us establish market leadership, and has helped us businesses turning towards us have been successful, and we've been really happy with the progress.
Right. Finally, Archit, GST has given you a push. You've got many small and medium businesses on your platform. You have individuals who've used Cleartax's platform to file returns. But what next? Where is the next wave of growth going to come from? Do you think you can replicate this model or spin this off for other developing markets? Is that on the agenda at all?
Right. So, Chandra, that's a great question. I think we'll have a bit of fun with that because I feel India is a very large country. We don't need to go out of the country of India focus for the next 24 months. So we'll be there's a lot of headroom for growth for us. we are projecting like we'll reach 10 million consumers, like 1 crore Indians, like in the next 18 months, and we'll reach we'll reach like millions of businesses as part of our GST rollout, because we just scratched the surface, and the businesses are still adopting software for the first time in their life. So it's very very early days, right? It's like literally day zero or day one, if you will. So I think like that's a lot of fun. The other part is like we're adding more financial services to our product lines, right? So we recently added tax saving and mutual fund investing to our platform. So that has led to a lot of our consumers who are using us for taxes now starting to use us for mutual fund investing. So the good thing is we can sort of personalize the experience for them, like in product a lot, right? Because the product already understands the sort of age income bracket, and so the product is super personalized, and like it sort of has baskets which can like be very tailored to who you are, what you do, and what are your objectives. So in terms of wealth creation, so very very simple 3-click process that we created. So excitement in both increasing our number of users and the number of product lines.
Right. Thanks for joining us, Archit. And we end then with a story that really sent out shock waves when it came out yesterday. This is about Paytm founder and CEO Vijay Shekhar Sharma being extorted by his own close associates for a sum of 20 crore. Now, three people were arrested yesterday. His secretary and her husband, and another employee in the admin department yesterday. Now, as a follow-up to that, Paytm today has clarified that whatever data they were blackmailing Vijay Shekhar Sharma with is his personal data. This does not involve consumer data. That consumer data is completely safe. But this has clearly created a lot of embarrassment for Paytm and its billionaire founder, particularly at a time when it's managed to pull in some of the biggest investors worldwide, right, from SoftBank to Berkshire Hathaway. The fact that the founder's data itself wasn't secure, and it was misused by one of his most trusted colleagues is something that sent a lot of shockwaves. But on that note, completely out of time on this edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned to the channel for an interesting debate on the Supreme Court ruling as far as fireworks are concerned.